There was a lot of people upset when I was covering the old leveling system or min-maxing system on Dragon's Dogma, and yeah, I mean, I'm really glad now that I did that video, that I made that video, and I'm glad that I didn't delete that video even though that it wasn't received well. Because people were allegedly finding that their leveling system was going to be different on Dragon's Dogma. And I would like to bring up the conversation once again. Because, again, for new players, you're a new player, you're watching this, you need to be aware of this leveling system. Although Capcom or Hideaki Itsuno did actually did some tweaks around here and first and foremost, let's just talk about the stat growth system, and as you can see, I'm going to show you that it actually still works the same. It still has like the same min-maxing scenario of leveling. So we'll get into details about how the leveling system works, and as a matter of fact, I do not want to make this video that long, so I'm going to have linked, in case you're a new player, you're interested in learning how does this stat growth system works, then there's going to be a link in the video description for you to learn how does the stat growth system works and why you should be caring about your stat growth system and why you shouldn't be swapping back and forth your vocations at will just because they look nice. At least not if you want to min-max a character, because let me tell you that min-maxing is still a thing. So we have Lunel right there on the left, and then we have Catherine right there on the right. You will see that, for example, Lunel, when we see the details of the pawn, you will see that she has 770 health. On magic, there's the total magic and there's the base magic. Now granted, if you swap your vocation, your stats are also going to change. But then again, it doesn't really matter that you're not going to be min-maxing your character. You can min-max a character, and the reason for that is very simple. Because again, we have 770 health right there. Take that into account, keep that in mind. And then we have magic, the base magic, it's 181. The character pawn level is level 24. So now let's see Catherine right here. You will see that Catherine actually has less health. She has 669 health and she has 218 magic. Now why is that? Unfortunately, that is because there is still a min-maxing system in here that it divided the community so much back in Dragon's Dogma, where you had to level up as a main character, and then at the end of the day, once you reach the max level of your character, swap into different thing. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but you'll see that this vocation that this character has been leveling up, the only vocations that the reason for this pawn was leveling up, it was the mage, and as soon as he was able to, he immediately swapped to a sorcerer, meaning that he has never touched a fighter, archer, thief, warrior, and what have you. That is why the magic is substantially higher. And yes, it actually is quite substantially higher, because for such a low level, being level 20, like 30 to 40 points in magic, that's actually quite a lot. So then again, we have the mage in here, and this character right here, it has a little bit more health, but you will see that it has less magic because this guy has been leveling up a little bit as a fighter and then as an archer. Initially it was a fighter, or then initially was a archer, then he tried to fight to do some fighter and so on and so forth, and then it was swapped to sorcerer later on, but they have the same level, and this guy has substantially less magic damage. But it has more health because it has some levels into warrior, into fighter. So yes, even though that if you swap your vocation, yes, your total base stats are going to swap as well to adequate a little bit more to give you that little bit of an extra edge. But they don't entirely change on itself. Now, one thing to have in mind, I am not entirely sure about this yet. We have been leveling up quite actually easy throughout the game. One thing to have in mind is that Hideaki Tsuno said that they were using, that's why I was so adamant in believing in this system, even though that most of the people that you will see in that video, and you can head over to that video, that then again I will have it linked in the video description, the people were adamant in believing that the old system, which is the Dragon's Dogma system, was not going to be in here. Well, it is in here. It's still very much the same system. Now, Hideaki Tsuno said in an interview that yes, the system was still going to be fairly similar, and the phrasing in here was a little bit vague, but he said that he didn't want for the stats to feel capped. So even though that there was going to be a similar leveling system, there were going to be some differences for the stats not to feel that they have a cap or that they were stalled. And I think that what he meant by that is the level cap that you have in Dragon's Dogma 2. We believe, like, I'm not entirely sure that someone has already made it that far, but yeah, level 999, if we believe that we can reach 999, then yeah, probably on the long term it's not going to, if you level up your character like all the way there, and if it's not that difficult to level up your character all the way there, and you can be like swapping a little bit more into different vocations, if you feel like, for example, that your Mystic Spear Hands or your Magic Archer is not doing that much damage because you have been leveling up as a fighter or as a warrior, so then you swap some levels into a sorcerer, you level up some levels into a sorcerer to increase your magic a little bit more. That's probably what he means by the stats not stalling that much or not having that much of a cap. But then again, remember that there is no de-leveling your character. If you level up your warrior all the way to, as a warrior, to 999, then you probably screwed up all of the magic classes, like you cannot be Magic Archer or Mystic Spear Hands or Mage or Sorcerer, because you're going to be doing cheeks with those characters. Have this in mind. If you're a new player, you want to learn about the system, links in the video description, and for veterans, for good or for worse, the system is still here, dude. I'm thinking that it's a little bit less heavy, but it's still very much here. If you like the content, like it, never super appreciate it, and also you today, you're a gorgeous and beautiful person. You're indeed a gorgeous and beautiful person. Have a lovely, lovely day, and goodbye.